Hi, I'm Kim Ellis. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm talking about taking you behind the scenes of my creative process to show you how to transform your children's book idea into thumbnails, storyboards, and color comps that will bring your story to life. And so we're going to go from our manuscript into our final drawings. And how do we do that? One thing that I do is I print out my manuscript. So I have this manuscript from my author and I separate it into pages. I'm coming up with page breaks. Where do ideas go together? There's a traditional 32-page picture book spread, and I will put that up for you guys. Your book starts on the right side. So this page is either empty, it's dedication, it's copyright, but it's going to start here. So this page stands by itself. So my book is really starting on this page, so that's why I'm saying this is page 3. And then I'm going to have these two pages. Now, if it's going to be a spread, which you guys can see in this one, this is a 2-page spread, so it's going to go over the whole thing. But for my page 4 and my page 5, they are separate illustrations, but I do want to look at how they go together. The next step that I do is I start to make thumbnails. What's a thumbnail? Thumbnail is a very small little image that I do mine in pencil. Back in college, we were told to do ours in Sharpie, and as a teacher, I do that oftentimes with my students. I'll bring out the Sharpies and make them put away their pencils, and so they're working with a very simplistic way. We're not getting in all the details. We're not going to spend hours on someone's face. Someone's face is going to be a little round dot, a little round circle. I encourage you to make a couple for your page. It helps you to kind of have some different ideas, some different ways. And sometimes some of these thumbnails merge. I like that from this idea. I like that. So it's my way of thinking, but in a very small, non-committal form. So it doesn't have to be perfect. So that I can know how my story is going to go, what visuals. It's very much like a movie. If you watched a movie and it was very static, you only just saw people standing here like this throughout the whole movie, it would be very, very, most likely boring. There are different ways to tell the story and to show the reader what's important. What do you want them to focus on? So I create my thumbnails, and then I will take a corkboard and I will photocopy my thumbnails. You don't have to do this, you can cut them out, whatever you want to do, and put them on the corkboard and lay the whole book out. Why? For me, as well as a lot of people who are doing any kind of movie or story, it helps me to see how the pacing of my story is going. Does it slow down too much? When there's a lot of action, does it speed up enough? Am I bored even looking at it? I shouldn't be. But if someone were to look at my storyboard and they don't have a clue of what's going on, something's wrong. Something needs to be revised. So what I can do is I can fix things, and at that point with the thumbnails, depending on how long you take, I haven't taken months and months and months on these thumbnails. Book number 4 I'm working on, and I have a couple of the thumbnails done, and I have really 12 more total to do. I could probably knock those out this week and be completely done, which actually I need to do. But they don't take a long time. There's not a big time commitment. There's not a big drawing commitment, especially if I were to do them in Sharpies. I can't get a lot of detail, and that's good because I'm looking at them just in relation to getting the story down, telling the story, making sure visually that it is telling the story along with the words. The next step after you do your thumbnails and you do your storyboard is you can do color comps. Now, you can take your images, and if you need to photocopy them, you can, or you can scan them and print them a couple times. You can do them with markers. You can do them with colored pencil, really any kind of media, or you can do them with watercolor. And I do mine with watercolor. And watercolor for me it's just easy to mix up exactly the color that I want to use and know, hey, I like that color palette. So for this one, I was spot on. I love this, and I will show you how it looks in the final. And you can see from the color comp to the final, there's not a lot of variation. It was really, like I said, spot on. I was very, very happy. I was able to just move forward, and I liked that a lot. It's so easy with a watercolor color comp to make it quick, to make it easy. You can do it on Procreate too if you want to do your drawing in Procreate or any kind of digital application. You can do it and just drop some colors and see what you like, and you can change it that way. The other thing as you're doing your color comps is you can experiment with, so I have this one color comp that I did, but what if instead I wanted it to be nighttime? Of course the colors would darken. What if I wanted it to be black and white and I just wanted the cherry blossoms to stand out? I could do that, and I could do that at this stage, which is very, very simple, very, very quick to just experiment and see if I like it. It's even quicker if you do it on Procreate because you can instantly turn it to black and white. Not hard to do. The other thing that I can do too is, for example, for this one really only has this one image, but on this, where it's two separate images, I want to look at, are these harmonious? Now they're two different drawings, two different color palettes, but are they harmonious with each other? Now, one thing that I tell my students, I have a book art class where I teach, I tell them, what is this thing here? This is the gutter, and you don't want anything to fall into this gutter. You also don't want things to fall too much on the outside. You don't want your important aspects, like my sister, this is my sister and her face. I don't want that to fall way too far. So if you have an image, you definitely don't want to put somebody's face or something very important in the gutter. You don't want it to fall into the gutter. So I'll take those, and again, I will take my corkboard and I will lay the story out and see how the colors look. Is that the way that I want my story to flow color-wise? Is it harmonious? Is it interesting? And so I've gone from my thumbnails in black and white to my thumbnails in color, and I get a picture, a very quick picture of how my story is going to flow. And I haven't committed yet at this point to my final drawings. By this stage, after I've done thumbnails and color comps and done the storyboard, I feel like I know my story pretty well. Now, one thing for my book Annyeong Korea that I did was I had little ideas I put to the side. So I'm doing these thumbnails, but of course, anybody's sketchbook, it's kind of like your brain on paper. So I have these little embroidery flowers that I had put here because I thought that would indicate Korea. The embroidery that's on a lot of different things, especially hanboks. And so I did take that embroidery flower and I actually made it here in this setting. So I made sure to put those embroidery flowers in there. For my cover of Annyeong Korea, I actually had a picture of myself in Korea, and I used that background to create this. So I used the actual picture, and I just painted in Procreate on top of that to create the color palette. When you're doing these little tiny thumbnails and looking through the process and getting to know your story and how it's going to be visually laid out, when you get to the point of the final, you really have a lot of the decisions made already, and it's just a matter of drawing it and finalizing things. So if you don't work in this manner, I do encourage you to do this, and you can go from the idea to the finished book, I hope for you guys, a little bit easier, a little bit simpler. And if you're an author and you're working with an artist, you can start gathering images and showing them. You can start gathering color palettes. On my website, and she asks me all the time, Mom, get me your color palette. And I have to get that to her. But she has certain colors that she likes, but they may not be the colors that I like and that I want to represent my brand. So again, if you're an author, gather some materials so that your illustrator and or your graphic designer kind of knows where you're going, kind of knows your vision, and they're not shooting into the dark. They understand what your vision is for the book. And there you have it. From thumbnails to storyboards to color comps, you're one step closer to creating your dream children's book. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and send me comments. Let me know what you're working on. Let me know how this has helped you, or if you guys have some suggestions that you can share with this art community, this author community, this creative community. I really value and appreciate all of your comments, and I respond to everyone. So this is number 2 in our series, and I will have 3 more to bring you again from idea to finished book and show you my step-by-step process. Thanks so much. I will see you in the next video. Okay, bye.